right, we are live on YouTube and the community. So let's get started. TikTok, quick disclaimer. I can see your comments, but however, if you do say you have trouble seeing something, right, depending on the device you're on, you can go to YouTube and watch it directly. It's ATA underscore trader if you want to watch it directly. So let's take a look at the charts. First, as y'all know, first let's just talk briefly. You can see I do also cover the Dow futures as well as the S&P 500 menu futures, and both are slightly down, right, which gives us a little bit of a future anticipation of the market open. So you can already see that we have a double top here on the SPY, which is beginning to break that 200 EMA. Let's take a look at and so let's talk just briefly about our day yesterday and how that played out. So let's go to our 2 minute, because y'all know that's what I love to trade. So Monday market open was right about here. Yeah, somewhere around there. All right, so I want to show you all how amazing our indicators did for us today. And so we actually had the market opened here. I did not take a trade for the first 15 minutes, so I didn't take anything here. I didn't like this yet, and so what I was doing is we marked this trend line right here off of this peak right there. And so that peak was also pulled from this one right here, right? And so because of these two marking, right, once this came up and I saw this short call throw, plus we had talked about also in the room that we had 1, 2, 3 peak bearish divergence. And so every single thing, it's kind of like what we talk about in the room, right? You want to trade your surefire bets, and everything's set to go short, right, or put. And so we all took the puts in here, rode this sucker down. It was awesome. This started to round here, so around 441 we actually put out in the room, and I know CK had mentioned it, that be careful because we're in a support zone, right? So we're likely to get a bounce, right? And so it was really a great call, actually. I was on the road, so I had missed this, but let me pull it back here. Right here. So you can see, right, 441.60, and we're at a target of 443. So I mean, he nailed that absolutely perfect, right? And so once it ended up hitting right about here, is when he threw that out, and it just absolutely just went nuts north, right? So a lot of the room, I was kind of bummed. I'm gonna be honest, I missed this one because I was driving. But a lot of the room caught this one. I was, however, able to catch the short, closer to the end of the day. So I did catch this kind of double top off of the trend line. Again, I was playing more of the put side, which is it's really funny. You get people in the room that'll say, "Man, you're in a put." Like, I'm in a call. Like, oh, and they start to get worried. Like, should I close it? Guys, yesterday it was so funny because like I made most of my money on puts, but a lot of people made most of their money on calls. The market goes up, the market goes down. As long as you're on the point with your TA, it's very possible to make money both ways on it. And I'll show you guys in the room here, because we had I don't know why I have this so close. I usually have it over a little bit so I can click it. Let me move that over. So you can see we had, let me show you mine. I'll show you in a minute, but this was my live trader. And so my live trader that settings I did yesterday took all puts. My call level was a little bit low, playing off. I should have played off of this support level here and brought it up just a little bit, but it never reached that anyway. So I played all the puts, right, which is great. However, you have somebody else who took the TA, and they actually were a little bit better on the calls and less aggressive on the puts, and they actually made some money on the calls, so which was awesome. But we had just a overall great day. I mean, you can see just a few of the posts here. I mean, you can see, look at John's Black Box made 1,200 on his Goliath made 1,000, and Iceman made 577. It was just an overall great day yesterday for the community, so it was awesome. So we'll talk about Live Trader. If you guys don't know what that is, that's our automation that we do. It's kind of how we're pivoting to teach to trade because we've been teaching for years now, and the hardest struggle people run into is patience and discipline. And so we created this technology to kind of help with that patience and discipline. So if you're curious about it, stick around. I'll get to that. So that was our play. I mean, this was literally a scalper's dream day right here. I mean, literally down, back up. I mean, it's so much money made in those oscillations. It's not even funny. So it was a great day. Now, where do we go from here, right? We can take this line that we had and we can extend it out because it looks like it became viable so far for support, right, where we are. So I'm going to hold this line probably for today. I'm not going to delete it. And my play today will be I will, you can see we got a short call here. I will watch the 21 SMA, which it has crossed the 200 EMA on my 2 minute for my scalping. As long as I stay below this 200, or I'm sorry, 21 SMA, or even really the 200 EMA, I'm staying put only. For me to take my call, I would need to flip above 40, 442.60, 442.70, something like that. I want to not only break above it, but close above it and hold a little support, like show of support, right? And then I would be happy to take my calls. Otherwise, I'll wait for the moves up and take my put. If the market opens and we break down further, I'm gonna wait for some kind of a bounce here. I probably won't enter this put stretch. I'll wait for a bounce here, try to ride the call up, or if I miss the call setup, then I'll just ride the put back down like that. So that's kind of my plays today on the SPY. We'll talk about it more when we get into the room as well. So as far as the high low SPY, I guess I could kind of cover that because I know some of y'all are running the ATAs. You know, when you really look at it, like I like to look at that. You guys know the 1 hour. Just be very careful, guys, because I'm going to mute the Harmonic Tracker Pro. But again, remember, we have the double oscillation here, the head, and then we're kind of in that double oscillation. It's a little bit tighter, right, than this one was here. But there's a good chance that we could see one more little push up to like 444 to retest this line. I'm telling you guys, if we cannot flip 444.49 or so, might be a little bit lower. Let me move it. Kind of grab both of these wicks. I would honestly call it closer to 443.90. Yeah, 443.93 is what I would watch up close. The reason why I moved that is because we want to touch this point, we want this point, and we want all these, right? So here's my end or if we flip above 443, 93, and then we come back down and hold that support, right? I would only take those calls because it's likely that it's going to continue to push up, right? Now, you do have this resistance here, 446, but you can take a nice bunch of call scalps on the way up to that. And then I would be really cautious around that 446 level. If we stay below 443.96 or 93, then I would be looking for potential put setups. Now, I'm zooming in because you can see we did get a little golden cross here, just kind of like we did here, right? It had a nice golden cross, but then it ended up collapsing, right? It broke down. And so we're kind of in that situation where it's starting to golden cross. I want to keep the candles above this, right? So like here, when we had our golden cross, we were already so separated from it, right? That it just had a lot of room to come down. We want to see like this, like higher high, come back, touch it, higher high, come back, touch it, higher high, come back, touch it. That would give us an actual trend to follow, right? So now if we end up breaking back below 441.90 or so, this is going to begin to curl back down. We'll be back below the trend line, below all the EMA and the SMA, and likely we're coming back down all the way to probably 438 or lower. So that's my range, my play. You set up your ATAs accordingly. So let's talk briefly about some tech stocks, and then I'm going to jump into the ATA. So this is the trend line we've been following for Apple. And you can see, again, we called this potential inverse head and shoulder. This was the first trend line I needed to break in order for me to even believe it can complete this shoulder. If it can break this line, which is pretty much right where it's at, guys, I would say it needs to get up to about 180.5 and then hold as support, right? Maybe even flip this because this is acting as a lot of resistance right here. So I'd almost need a little bit higher and then pull back up support before I believe that we're going to ride it up. Now, if we push down on this trend line and we flip the 21 SMA around 179.69, then we're almost certain to head back to test the 200. If we break the 200, then this whole pattern is going to potentially start to get invalidated. But for me to really invalidate it, I guess what I typically do is I draw a line like that, right? Because you have your head to your shoulder. So if this comes down and breaks this entire thing, right, then it's likely that the pattern's not playing out. Just looking here. So we did have our bullish divergence here, but we're starting to get some bearish, little mini bearish divergence here. So we'll see. I don't know, if it's geared up, ready to push north yet. It's looking like a possible weak head and shoulders. Could be a bait, right? Bait trap or a bull trap. Microsoft, let's talk about. So Microsoft is I know there's some news swirling about Microsoft, but it's still kind of on this downside over here. We did get the pump up test for that side. This was the trend line that I'm watching for Microsoft. I would say currently for Microsoft, I mean, we're divergence center is red heading down. We got a small green here, but nothing really strong. I don't know, with this fall here, if this continues to bounce in a parallel fashion, right, and some kind of a wedge or a bear flag, right, then I'm gonna just anticipate another further drop. But I don't see anything super clear that I like for Microsoft. So unless it's news that pushes it over. Google. So the thing about Google is, yes, we have this upper trend line, so we can go a lot higher. But we have this lower trend line, right, creating this kind of wedge. So I could probably delete this line here. I want to watch, my main thing for Google is if we break this lower line, then this is my target down here, 120. But there may be one more oscillation in play. I mean, we are holding, see how it's, the big thing to watch here is see how we're holding the SMA, right? We have support, and it's pumped up, right? It's just hitting resistance here. So if it comes down, access support again, and squeezes this resistance, then it's going to have one more pop north. So I'd be really careful on the puts for now. The only way I would take a put is if we close below at least the 21 SMA in the 1 hour, which is like 131, and I want to close below it, and then you can ride that back down to here in a nice little scalp. So let's jump over to Tesla just for the sake of time. So Tesla's doing nothing fancy. So Tesla, my thing with Tesla, as y'all know, I was watching, is we had kind of this rounded top here, and I'm kind of curious if this is going to create a handle, because if we can't break this trend line right here that we put, then this is just creating a handle, and then that's gonna collapse like crazy. But currently it's up a little bit, and no, actually it's down. This is 238. So closed up 0.1. So we're down a little bit in the pre-market, and you can see we got just heavy resistance here. So if this continues to act as a heavy resistance, I would look for the 1 hour 200 EMA to flip. If it flips, then it's just going to reclaim this side and come back to retest this here. For me to be bullish, I'll be honest with you guys, I wouldn't take a call on Tesla until I flip this line, like 245. I would just let that play, because if it flips 245, it's going to 253. That would be my range. Let's talk briefly about NVIDIA. Nope, that's still Tesla. That's where I clicked it. NVIDIA. So you guys all remember from NVIDIA, I said, man, this is looking kind of head and shouldery because of the pump. It still is. Nothing's changed on that. Massive divergence here. When this had this pump, remember last week I said congratulations to those who have it but do not by now. I hope you listened because you would have got wrecked. It's a classic. If you guys are new and you're watching this, the hardest lesson to learn in trading is the the simple concept of buy the rumor, sell the news. This was the rumor, right? That Nvidia's earnings and everything was just going to be through the roof, which it was. But the hype and the news is what does this, because what happens when news comes out, right? All the retailer drives it up. You guys start buying. You think, oh, Nvidia. You start hearing about people making all this money on Nvidia, and then you go, well, man, I want to do it. And then even if you did some basic TA and you saw a trend line that could go all the way to here, you start to buy here, right? You don't want to ever buy on these candlesticks. You just don't want to ever. It's terrible. If you miss it, you miss it. But and then the hedge funds, right? All the big money, they come in, they see this candlestick, they go, okay, man, we got all kinds of contracts, let's dump it. And then they dump it. They make literally billions of dollars on just these moves. It's crazy because they will literally ride it up. They bought down here, trust me. And then retailers push it up, and then they just dump it right back down. And so just tons of money made. So just don't chase those candles. No matter how many times we say it, there's always somebody who does, but just don't. The 21 SMA on the 1 hour, we are still holding above it though, right? So we could have one more little push up to about 480. That would not surprise me. I would not take a put on Nvidia playing any kind of head and shoulders or any pattern at all until we flip this 200 right here, because the 200 is really, it's right by the POC as well, which is 457.38. So I would look for calls still off of the bounces until we flip that, and then I would take the puts on Nvidia. But Nvidia is it's a high risk, high reward one right now because it can move really, really fast. So I haven't had a lot of requests for Meta, but briefly I'll tell you on Meta. You can see it's rejecting on this trend line. Meta is looking pretty weak right now. You can see the trend line we had is a while ago. It's hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, right? So if it squeezes in this 200, there's a big squeeze coming on with Meta. Watch this close because you could make some money on this one really, really well. If we get a close below here, if you get a close below the 21, the SMA, then we're likely to get a pretty big fall, and you'll get the gap fill down here around 281, 280. However, if this resistance gets squeezed on the SMA and it does pop it, right, then it's going to be a big move north. So that would be the double play I'd play on Meta. Dollar still can't break that upper trend line that we put. It actually wicked to it twice. So I would just keep an eye on this trend line. Let me show you guys if you didn't do it. I can do the QQQ, John. Are you trading the QQQ or are you just messing with me? I know you just throw some stuff out there once in a while. So this is an easy one. You got peak, 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 and then that's where it's rejecting, right? So yeah, I would be careful. Some people ask why we follow the Dixie. The Dixie is inverse. Who are they? What they're doing with their SPY, pretty much, right? Well, you're welcome to come in the room. We trade our stuff live. So the Dixie's inverse, right? And so if the Dixie happens to break this trend line, right, and run up, then the market's obviously going to dump, right? But if it continues to reject off this resistance and we get a nice breakdown, then we're going to get a pump up in the SPY. Yeah, we nailed the SPY yesterday, so I'm sure that we'll do the huddle tomorrow, right? So every day I do the huddle for the previous day and how our trades went and how the indicators did it, how we played it, and there's people live in the room, so they're gonna keep us honest. So especially John. John's in there, right? John is my he's my guy that keeps me honest there. So, but yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with the Dixie. Let's just talk about Bitcoin because we only got about 10 minutes left. Where's the room? If you go to botjock.com, looks like this. You can even make an account with an email. We have our memberships in there, but our memberships are mostly for our products. But you can come into the trading floor with just an email. Just sign up with your email. We don't have Discord because we create our own Discord. Discord's got too many scammers. So this is our Discord right here. On our website. It's all on one page. Bitcoin, as you guys know, I had called that we're probably not going to do a whole lot with Bitcoin because what it's doing is it's squeezing right here on this 200 EMA on the 1 hour, and so we're holding support. My projection is to watch this 28.8 and to watch this 200 EMA, which is now 26.2 or so, 26.250. If we flip this 200 EMA, man, it's going to go up in a pretty nasty big way. However, if this squeezes down and we break that 28.8 support, right, if you see a large volume candle, something like this, right, and we close it and we don't quick recover like we did here, right, then we're heading down to that 25.1 again for this retest. So, which wouldn't surprise me. So, indicator did call the bearish divergence right here, which did play out nice in a little bit of a little mini scalp. But yeah, just not a lot going on in crypto right now. It's just kind of bear marketing. So this was my day. I actually did not take this one because I did delete my indicator or my alert. So we're going to talk about the live trader. So for those new to the channel, live trader is how we automate our trades. So we trade in a kind of a multi-fashion way. We have our ATA where it uses strategies to trade on its own. We have what's called a live trader where it trades options based on ranges that you put. And so I'm gonna remove my drawings, and I like to start fresh on this. And then I have my own trades that I throw in there from time to time, right? If I just see something that I like. So this is how I set it up. So the puts is what played out. So you can mute, if you mute it, you'll be able to see which one really killed it, right? So none of these actually did any plays, and so you can see the line. So the way that I had it set up was this was my range. If we cross above this line and back down, it would take a put. So it did it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I only took the third one. I did not take this one because it was too close to market close, but would have been a good one. If we broke above here based on our TA, we would allow it to run and capture a call. If it dropped down into here, we would capture a call as well on the way back up, and then this would be a put. So we ranged pretty tight. So I was able to capture all of the put ranges. This range, it literally played absolutely perfect. So that just worked out really well. But we did not get the calls. So the thing is, we are still in that range. So let's just take a look at 443. I'm gonna bump this up just a smidget. Let's look in let's see where we got some other resistance. Let's mute this one. So I like to the live trader is pretty much primarily made of just support and resistance and trend lines is how we do it. So I just play the range. So I'm gonna take a line. We'll kind of mark that as our ceiling, kind of our upper ceiling, and then let's mark this. I recommend, especially those of you that are new, to constantly do this every single day, right? Just you want to box it in. You want your upper, you want your lower. So we know that the lower is here. This is the upper and the lower for the trend lines. Now we want to find something a little closer because if obviously I could set to take a call down here, right? But we may not even hit that today. It's possible that we don't even hit it, right? So let's go to something closer, maybe the 5 minute. And you can see this was our ranges that we set yesterday. I would like to move my put up just a little bit, I think. Let's move it up to somewhere. I'd like to get up into this range here because then if we do pump up, right, we can play the rejection off of this one right here. So I'm going to move it to like 443.50. Might miss it, but let's try it. So all we have to do, those that are new on this, yeah, I did NVIDIA about 20 minutes ago. Yep. And so I'm going to do 5 contracts. This is my put that I'm setting up. We'll do the 3 days. I'm going to allow this one. I'm going to go a little bit less. I'm going to say 230. We'll let it roll. 29. And then we said 443.50. I think I was going to move that up to. Just give it a little extra push north. Yep, that'll be our setting. So somebody said yesterday that I didn't make the alert, so I'm gonna make the alert for you guys now. I have only a certain amount of time on these calls, so I assume people by now know how to make the alerts, but maybe I made a quick assumption. So I'm gonna put my alert here now. You can rename this part. This part is just for you. So like I can put, I'll put like I don't know. I like to use a first letter that's going to put it above all my other letters. So I'm just going to do ATA even though it's Live Trader. And then I'm going to put 443.5. That's all I need to know. So that's all you're doing on that is you're just creating your name. So we have our rejection put from the possible push north and rejection. We have that set now. So now we want to find our continuation. So for my continuation, as we get closer up to the 445.29, I kind of want to go above that. This is something that I don't want it to really hit unless we run, right? So I'm going to say 445.80 for my call. Once you've already set the settings, it's pretty easy as long as you're keeping things pretty simple. Or keeping them the same, I mean. So what did we say? 440. I wanted it just above this. 445. We'll say 445.80. It's okay if this one doesn't trigger. The ones that I primarily want to trigger are my up and downs. Or my iron condors, as said. All right, so we're gonna go ATA. This one is a call, 440, 5.80. Again, you're just naming those to make it to where you can remember it. The beauty of this live trader, guys, is I set all those settings and then I just let it go. And then it takes the trade, it sets the take profits based on your data. You can change your take profits if you want to. So let's check a call. I want to be really careful on my call. The reason why is depending how the market opens, right? We may have our resistance held here, right? And we could end up in a kind of a triple top situation, which could pull us down, right? So we could put a call here, but the problem is if this does end up triple topping, right, and we break down, now we're we're in a situation where we're stuck. So I'm gonna put, I'll go ahead and put it, but the only thing I'll caution y'all with is just watch it, right? If it looks like we're getting pretty bearish, we'll call it in the room as well, plus the indicators. Then I'll probably take this one out. But other than that, we'll put it at I'll say 441.30 will probably be where I'll put it. 441.30. This is where I'm anticipating a bounce. And we scalp on these, so it doesn't have to be a very big bounce. We just need a little bounce. No DCAs, but we can set our take profits, so we'll just leave them on default. So we're gonna do the same thing here. So you see the time it takes just to make these alerts. That's why I didn't do it, but that's okay. I'll remind you guys. So ATA call, and then we did 440. I think 50 was what I did. That's okay. I can adjust it when I get in. All right, now we need our continuation put, right? So we want to know if this breaks down, we want to take that put right down, right? So I would probably put it somewhere about 440, because anticipation of this happening, remember, like you guys know in the room, let's say it does do something like this today, right? And then it bounces a little bit here, breaks down. Even on this breakdown, it's likely going to hold support right there, come back up for the retest, and then that's where the true breakdown would happen. If that's how that plays out, right? Which we'll watch that. So yeah, so I would need I would say about 440. 440.40 gives us enough for a take profit if it does bounce there for our continuation. Yeah, and I'll be watching all the continuation ones, guys. I always watch these ones throughout the day, but that should work. So we'll say 440.40. 233. And you can do other ones on here, guys, just so you know. You can do NVIDIA, AMD, all that stuff on here, but I'm just, I just set up on the SPY for the sake of time for here. So we do have one trade set up on this one. I'm going to actually, I'll fix that later, but I'm going to do one trade on all these guys. I have to delete the alert. So it's already 9 o'clock, so I don't want to keep pushing that. So we'll create this, and then I'll adjust it after. If you do need to ever change any setting, you just change the setting, delete the alert, and add the alert back. ATA put, and then shoot, I don't remember what we said. It was 440.40, I think. Yeah. Let me cancel this one real quick because I just noticed that line is still there and it should not be. Did not change the date because this line right here should not be there because it has to close that candle. 440.40. Okay. Yep. So we're good. Alert. ATA. Put 440.40. Great. And then this way, when you look at your alerts, right, you can see them all right here and you know exactly which ones are active. So that is my setup, guys. We're 2 minutes over. Like I said, if you guys are watching on TikTok, you guys want to come in. I mean, we trade live each morning. We typically only trade till about 11. I mean, we get in, we make our scalps, we make our money, and then we let the technology trade throughout the day. If you're one that enjoys their, sitting at your charts all day long, that's fine. A lot of people who are learning, they really should, right? Take a look at their charts a lot throughout the day just to anticipate like we teach in the room. But we make our money pretty much by 11 and we're out. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this community chat, and we will see you guys in the room soon.